Hello, welcome to my channel. There's an old song that I want to mention. It's called Turn Out the Light, the Party's Over. And basically that is where we are now as far as meditations are concerned. It's time to get down to some more serious discussion. And today's meditation is more or less about me and where my life is going and what direction it's taking. So I am going to go into this. This was very hard for me emotionally as I was going through it because there was some realizations that I needed to have, and there's some thoughts that I needed to express, which I hadn't. And so it needed to be done. And I kind of think, God, this is so egotistical of me to come on here and talk about myself and talk about where my life is going, what my direction is, et cetera, et cetera. But the reality is that sometimes we have to do that. It just has to happen. Otherwise, we just, fall into an abyss or something. But at any rate, so we'll get started. And today is February 10th, 2025, and this is day number 12. I started out thinking the hills are alive, and Sunshine comes in and says, with the sound of silence. I said it should be music. And she says, you sing it your way, I'll sing it my way. Okay, typical. Nigel says, are we going through this again? And Sunshine says, yes, deal with it, fancy pants. I said, you two are too much. Metatron comes in and says, are you quite done with all these one-liners? I said, I've been watching old match games streams on YouTube. Maybe I'm not as centered as I should be. That show is full of them. And Sunshine says, and you are so easily amused. And I said, yes, I am. There's nothing wrong in that if it sure keeps my mind off all that's going on. If I spend too much time in that energy, I would probably fall into a depression. And Metatron says, it is why it's important for you to do this. Your mind is contrary to how much fun you are having, troubled by current events. And I said, how can it not be? I live in the real world, and although this is helping me to cope, there is a small part of me that is thinking about all of this. And Nigel asked, do you feel better talking to us? I said, yes, it helps me a lot, probably more than you know. I love to sometimes get away from the computer, do other things. Last night I started reading through the story, and Nigel, you were absolutely right. The story is pure fantasy. I guess when I mentioned it, I thought it was something else. Nigel says, it was not what you seem to recall, just a story. You have written so many stories that it seems only natural for the plots to come together. You will be able to share stories. Just decide which ones work for you. The two you posted here have lovely messages. I said, yes, at that time I hoped that they would reap more responses than they did. If everything I write seems to reap lukewarm responses at best. And Sunshine asked, are you feeling sorry for yourself? I said, no, I'm just stating a fact. I want to write, but have sort of moved a little bit away from it because the responses just haven't been what I had hoped. Metatron says, you've been writing for 30 years and are looking for a break. Unfortunately, you still feel unfulfilled with it. I said, yeah, I sometimes feel sad that the work I do reaps little if no response. Even the last article I wrote has reaped nothing. Last year I wrote an article that got changed up so much I barely recognized that it was actually from me. This is like people know how to insert so much of themselves into something I wrote, but it was my work, not theirs. It sounds like I'm feeling sorry for myself, but if I can be honest, that is the response I would get. Maybe that's why I haven't finished my stories in years. Nigel says, I know it's hard for you. I said, the thing is, I could have used the time during the pandemic to finish things, but I got blocked. And Sunshine says, you felt underappreciated. I said, yes, I did. I guess to some extent I do. When I started reading the stories on my channel, I hope that people would tell me that they were good or original, but no responses. Fun writing is used is using someone fan writing is using someone else's characters and ideas, but here I just thought maybe it was good enough. I just feel a bit let down by everything. I said, laughing on the outside, crying on the inside. I'm sorry that it seems like I am whining, but I am trying to find out why I wasted so much time with unsuccessful endeavors. And Metatron says, maybe what you want is a little bit of recognition for the things that you do. You have tried so many things to make yourself stand out, and you can only try for so many times. Starting to post your channel was a huge risk. It takes a person of great character to try and put themselves out there. I said, I know what you're saying, Metatron, but is it selfish to say that I want more? I grew up around a narcissist, and I know firsthand how it feels to have someone literally bang over my head about what other people think. Maybe I put too much emphasis on that. And Nigel says, maybe you are just conscientious of that. You have seen far too often people try to silence you, and now today you are witnessing a world where someone who is a narcissist putting everyone else under the very same things you have lived through. Sunshine says, I'm sorry for saying you are feeling sorry for yourself. I guess you have heard that so many times before. I sometimes speak without thinking. And I said, it's okay. Sunshine said, no, it's not okay. You have dealt with that crap for so long. You don't need it from me. Maybe what I did was repeat what your ego was saying. I said, I guess that's pretty loud. I guess that's pretty loud then, because my ego is screaming this at me. Try as I might, I can't shut it out. I just wish that I knew why it is that I sometimes feel like a failure. I want to feel successful, but I seem to only be grasping at straws. Hell, I can't even get a bloody job. I sit here day in and day out and feel like I am just grinding away. I try to be supportive of my husband, but then I look at myself and I think, who am I to talk? I can't even get a bloody job. I'm worried about the citizenship thing. I'm concerned about what is happening in the world, and the only things that are keeping me afloat is my husband and you guys. Nigel says, I wish that I could just give you the answers to all of these things. You know I would give you that if I could. But with that said, I'm glad to see that you are finally saying this stuff aloud. Now that you have, maybe you can let it go and move on. Metatron said, Nigel is right, Yvette. We cannot give you the answers. We can only say that you are doing well finally speaking of this. It is hard, I know. The fears you have are shared by so many people, and the fact that you have lived with someone who is a narcissist helps you to deal with the reality that is dominant in your world. And I said, I just wish that I could make a difference. Sunshine said, for what it's worth you are, just keep your chin up. I know that I am not always serious, but I do think that you are doing something awesome here. You know that it is necessary to put yourself out there. A risk you take is just that. It is a risk that either something good will come of it or something not so good will. But you always have us to help see you through. I said, maybe I do better finally talking about it. I guess I've always felt like speaking my mind is just my ego needing to be stroked. But the truth is, I've always felt as though I was on my own. Maybe one day I will be able to accept the fact that I'm not. Maybe I have ignored you all for far too long. And Metatron says, you haven't. Everything you do brings you to a moment, and now you are at that moment. We are always here for you. Just know that we will do what we can to help you through this human experience. I said, thank you all. I'm sending you love and light as best I can. And Metatron says, it is enough. You must never doubt yourself. And Nigel said, it is only that we love you, love you so much that we can finally speak. I'm always here with you. Sunshine is as well. She may be blunt, but she does love you as well. And I said, I will remember that. Thank you. So, yeah, that was what I experienced this morning. It was very, very difficult. I question almost constantly every day almost, what am I doing here? Am I making a difference? Is what I'm doing the right thing? The two videos that I mentioned are the stories that I read aloud on this channel. They are still here. I posted them 2 years ago. One is called The Little Herb Tree That Wanted to Be a Little Herb Plant That Wanted to Be a Tree, and the other one is called The Copper Coins. I posted this with hopeful expectations, I guess, that they would reap some sort of result, or that somebody would be touched by them. But I got no response to them. I just left them on the channel and stopped posting. And I went 2 years without posting anything. And then this year I started posting again, which makes me happy. I mean, I'm glad that I started doing this. I'm glad at least one person or a few people enjoy what I'm doing and are inspired by it or touched by it. But still, there's that part of me that wonders, am I doing what's right for myself, or is this going to reap anything that I can feel a sense of pride in, or what have you? So, I mean, we all go through these moments where we doubt ourselves, where we doubt what we're doing, we doubt how we feel about it, and having the ability to speak to my guides about it and see if this is going to actually reap something is, it's kind of like going out on a limb, I guess, but here we are. So yeah, it was not the happiest of times this time, but I think everybody goes through that, where they have wonderful, happy meditations, and they go through kind of sad and somber meditations, and it's just, you have to find the balance with it. So I guess it's like Sunshine and Nigel. They're both, so different, but yet they're both so wise in their own ways. So that's where I'm at. So I wish you a wonderful day, and I will muddle through as best I can with everything. And hopefully maybe we'll have another party come the weekend or something. I don't know, but we'll see. So take care. Have a great day. And as always, namaste.